going through some of their party tricks at the moment. Gusto! That wasn't far away. Great few minutes for Chelsea. Malo Gusto's effort just wide. And Chelsea are into Sunday's final. Two wonderful goals for João Pedro books Chelsea a place in the final.
All right, guys, just more or less a week after confirming his transfer from Brighton down to Chelsea, we had Brazilian striker João Pedro scoring against his former club Fluminense. That was a brace, rather, in that one, in the clash between Chelsea as well as Fluminense in the FIFA Club World Cup semi-finals, in order to send Chelsea to the final of the FIFA Club World Cup. And of course, you also know as well that later today is also going to be the second semi-final between the current European champions PSG as well as their predecessors in Real Madrid, who have also won 15 Champions League. And that's how we welcome you to the midweek's edition of Sport Cruise Live from 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Well, a lot of things to talk about on the show. You got Sᴘᴏʀᴛ, Ludmila Samsonova, of course, and then that also means as well that Sᴘᴏʀᴛ will be playing against Belinda Bencic next after she also defeated a young player, talking about Mira Andreeva 7-6, 7-3, 7-6 as well as 7-2 on the show as well later today. I will also talk about the WAFCON currently going on right there in Morocco. Tomorrow, the Super Falcons of Nigeria will be playing against Botswana. And the last time both sides met was back in 2022, and it ended 2-0 in favor of the Super Falcons of Nigeria. And then tomorrow, both sides would also be, playing again. And don't also forget also that the Super Falcons meet Euros right there as well. Action currently going as it stands. It's going to be England up against Netherlands as well. A must-win game. The fact that some transfer stories have now coming, talking about Thierry Barry for the sum of £27 million, and in Formula One as well, Red Bull team principal, from 98.3 FM, Sound of Lagos. My name is Adetomo Banjo Oluwasegun, otherwise known as Agbeton. And of course, you know as well that ᴑᴏᴛ joins me on the show from every day, Mondays down to Fridays, 6 to 7. ᴑᴏᴛ, good evening to you. A lot of things to talk about on the show today. We also got the confirmation now that playing in the French Ligue 1 as well for next season. What an exciting bumper package we have today, and where exactly do we start from as well?
The Super Falcons will return to action in their second game of the ongoing Women African Cup of Nations in Morocco. They won the first game against Tunisia by 3-0. They play Botswana next, and win it, and they are through to the next stage of the competition. So I think it's a good one. The mood in camp. So there was a video that was uploaded.
So that's what is this thing called now? Toilet roll pack.
So they did that one of plastic paper, plastic bottle, and then it led to crazy controversy on social media. So I deleted the video already because I sent a DM to Catherine that useless this one, useless that one. Meanwhile, there's a content. I mean, there's none of those ladies that are not playing professional football. So even if the NFF cannot provide shin guard or all things, is it that they will now have to cut
bottle water? This thing.
It's a content, and everyone saw it. But I think these things happen in the NFF. Imagine registering a player that accumulated yellow cards and then they had to play a game, and then Nigeria challenged the result. They got 3 points again from us. Imagine if we needed those points.
Those 3 points. For the World Cup. So, okay, I'm talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. I was also on X, I think, the other day, after the game against Tunisia when they won 3-0. I think the training session after that, they were putting on the Super Eagles jersey as their training session. The training session after that particular one, they were given a green shirt and ordinary white t-shirts to train. So, I mean, the treatment of the Super Falcons of Nigeria.
Yeah, well, whether we like it or not, is basically part of the issues we're talking about. But I think we have a box like everyone calls it, was also captured for the gloves for the
goalkeepers as well.
I'm sure that the least thing that can be missing is shin guard. How much did they sell shin guard? 2,000 naira. You
get shin guard at Suliri or Yaba.
There, you know, so qualifiers. So and then we have to go and play against the Black Starlets. That's the under 20
of Ghana.
And then you believe that we went to Ghana without training
jerseys.
So the players had to cut their long sleeve with scissors. And we've seen it where athletes at the Olympics come out to say that what they give us is wash and wear. If you don't run, finish.
If you don't, you go use them.
There's a time where, so I think those are the instances that have made a lot of people, start, trending and sharing those videos. But apart from that, I think the Super Falcons are good.
Yeah. And they still have unpaid allowances.
I mean, that one is irregular.
Is it constant?
I think this is a golden generation I like the integration. There is
there's the old and experienced.
The
middle class.
That's where Aẓa falls in. Then there are the younger ones.
Yeah.
So I think for me it's a blend. So if a part of the team is retiring rather, the middle ones take up that leadership
position.
Then the ones that are of England are suffering right now because 3 of their key players retired from the national team.
After
I keep saying resign. It's a political show now. so you and you would always feel that space. So for me, I think the Falcons are good to go. I don't want to sound overconfident, but I think we should get Mission X done.
Yeah, maybe.
We've got some quality players, some quality teams as well. Bayana seems to, in the last few years, become is a bigger challenge for the Super Falcons. Yeah. But I think we're good to go on that one.
All right, guys, don't forget this is the Sports Cruise live from 98.3 FM, or maybe on YouTube as well. You get to find us there at 98.3 FM. If you don't want to do that, I can listen to us via our website, Sports Cruise Live on 98.3 FM.
Yo, toward your destination. Though you may find from time to time complications.
All right, guys, this is the Sports Cruise Live from 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. And we start the show this evening with stories as well from the SW19. That's the Wimbledon 2025. The game between Novak Djokovic as well as Flavio Cobolli is currently going on as it stands 67. 6-2 as it started that were decided earlier on today. We also had Iga Swiatek also getting into the first semi-finals. First, the soundbite.
New territory on the grass. The second Wimbledon quarter-final. The first that ends in victory.
Oh, you could see the delight on her face after she struck. Yes, another.
Sport Cruise, 6 p.m. weekdays on 98.3 Mainland FM. The cruise never stops.
We all say when I get older, I will be stronger. They'll call me freedom, just like a waving flag.
All right, Iga Swiatek now into our first Wimbledon semi-finals. But before we also talk about that, we have a quick update. Go Rush for you guys now. Zambia women up against Senegal women are talking about the Africa Cup of Nations game currently going on right there in Morocco. Zambia women, they've now also retaken the lead to go to one just minutes, I think seconds in fact, after Senegal women also restored parity in that of action. Let's also leave that very, very quickly and take a look at other games. In the Wimbledon yesterday, we had games decided. World number one saw off Laura Siegemund, the German, to win the Wimbledon after he also defeated Cameron Norrie. World number two, Carlos Alcaraz, saw off Cameron Norrie 6-2, 6-3, 6-3 in 3 sets to make his progression into the semi-finals of the men's singles. And yesterday, as a Taylor Fritz saw him off 6-3, 6-4, 1-6, and then 7-6 as well. And just like we mentioned as well, we have today the game between Flavio Cobolli up against Novak Djokovic, world number 6 up winning that particular. Okay, Novak Djokovic won the second set 6-2, so they are now in the third set as well. Maybe that could also decide where this one goes to. And earlier on as well today, we had Iga Swiatek making her first Wimbledon semi-finals by defeating Ludmila Samsonova 6-2, 7-5 in 2 sets, and world number 1 as well also defeated world number 10 7-6, 6-4, 6-4 in order to also make his progression into the semi-finals of the men's singles. And later tomorrow we have world number 1 up against Amanda Anisimova, that's world number 1 up against world number 13. That's scheduled for 1:30 p.m. Tomorrow, and Belinda Bencic as well would also be playing against Iga Swiatek, world number 8 by 3 p.m. tomorrow. All right, let's also quickly go over to Morocco now and talk about the WAFCON 2024 currently going as it stands. Just like we mentioned, Zambia women up against Senegal women, Morocco women as well. And by tomorrow, the Super Falcons of Nigeria will be playing their second game against Botswana. And just like we mentioned as well, the last time both sides met was back at the WAFCON 2022 with the Super Falcons of Nigeria winning 2-0. And we also expect that the Super Falcons of Nigeria would also still win this game. And yes, Ghana women will be playing against Mali women on Friday, and same on Friday as well, we have Tanzania women up against South Africa women as well by 8 p.m. But then by next week, the Super Falcons will be playing against Algeria. Algeria women, I think that would definitely be the toughest game of the group against Algeria women by next week 8 p.m. All right, guys, this is Sports Cruise Live from 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Let's also quickly talk about the UEFA Women Euros currently going on as it stands. Yes, 61 minutes of action in the game between England women up against England women are currently leading that 3-0. Later today, we also have France women up against Wales women as well by 8 p.m. and that exactly is, or should I say, the games that will be played today. For games to be played as well tomorrow, yes, of course, I think that's going to be France women. Let's also quickly take a look at results and games to look forward to in other groups. All right, guys, this is Sports Cruise Live from 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. So let's quickly take a look at game. It's going to be France women up against Wales women as well by tomorrow. The round 3 games will commence. It's going to be Finland women up against Switzerland women. Norway women as well will be playing against Iceland women. And then on Friday, we have Italy women up against Spain women, Portugal women up against Belgium women, Poland women up against Denmark women, Sweden women will be playing against Germany women, and then England women will be playing against women. Let's also quickly drive into the world of Formula One. Just like we mentioned, Red Bull has now decided to sack their team principal in person of Cʀᴜɪsᴛ, who has been the team's. Do you think this move is linked to Max Verstappen's poor form in the 2025-2026 season of the Formula 1 season?
There's a lot. I super feel for. See, when you have a system where it's like a one-party, thing, where a certain family controls the over 82% of their stake
of the stake.
The stake in Red Bull. So I think it's a case of how much should they be able to push it up. Cʀᴜɪsᴛ has been not just a loyal team lead. He's also been very innovative. He's taking Red Bull to a whole new level.
Yeah.
He also delivered 6 championship titles and 8 constructors championship titles. Attack is a matter of when. I mean, some of them even complain of harassment at the workplace. So he's been under investigation for a while. And then there was also a report over the weekend that the engine, the 2026 formation engine for Red Bull is late. So that the production is being delayed, and it's supposed to be a game changer in terms of probably the best they've ever put on the circuit. So I feel there's just a whole lot of that's the director of Mercedes had to come out and say that we're looking to sign in Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen had to come out and
he wants to finish his career at Red Bull.
Yeah, it's almost like, okay, I'm giving you guys a vote of confidence that I'm not leaving.
Yeah,
I'm not going anywhere. I want to finish my career at Red Bull and all of that. So I think it's just been a whole lot of things for Cʀᴜɪsᴛ. So when I saw the news this morning, when I was a bit
maybe disgruntled.
Not exactly disgruntled, but I feel like they should have probably just given him the option of resigning. It would be more honorable than them just sacking him. He's even saying that he granted an interview later this morning. And he said they've not even told him the reason why he was sacked. I mean, for 2 sides. So you have to separate emotions from business. If you think, okay, this guy he has gotten to his ceiling, he can't delete things, will be scrambling for his signature on his image. But I think they've just told me, I say, you know what, let's make it this way. We see it in football where managers would resign. Most of them, the management of the club just gave them option so that we don't embarrass you by sacking you. Just resign. I thought you should have allowed Cʀᴜɪsᴛ to do that rather than just sack him like that.
Well, all right, guys, this is Sports Cruise Live from 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. So let's also quickly switch over to the world on it has gone AYR, because it looks like the Eagles' status are in doubt, just as Lyon's Ligue 1 relegation has now been overturned. They had a successful appeal against their relegation from Ligue 1, and that also means also that Crystal Palace hopes of playing in next season's UEFA Europa League is now in doubt after Lyon were successful in their appeal, and that now opens the door for Nottingham Forest in order to sold his shares at Crystal Palace to another US businessman. I mean, how much do you think Crystal Palace need to do in order to ensure that they play in the Europa League next season? Because don't forget, it's going to be their first sojourn in Europe. And the moment they won the FA Cup, what do they need to do?
For context, so for the people that don't know, the dual ownership in UEFA is not allowed.
It's not allowed.
That means you can't have two.
I think it's everywhere though, even here in Nigeria Premier Football League. Yeah. Beyond Limit was to play the NPFL last season, and they saw the.
So I remember I was with a friend of mine, and he was on the phone with Honorable Cʀᴜɪsᴛ, and then that was when Beyond Limit
got the promotion
and all of that, and they were on the phone, and then Honorable Cʀᴜɪsᴛ said, I can play both teams, that I registered Beyond Limit in my wife's name. And then Remo starts in my own name. So it's understandable. You can actually put that.
But it wasn't possible.
Unfortunately, Alan bought the slot and they still relegated with the slot again.
And they are still
negotiating to buy another very unserious club. So I think for me in that regard, it's quite unfortunate for Crystal Palace. I mean, having come that far and winning their first ever major trophy, which automatically takes them to European football. I'm sure the fans at Selhurst Park are already dreaming of those magical nights where you have the big teams that would come around and play.
Did you see the tifo they did against Manchester City in the final? Wow!
So it's I mean, almost looking like the reward of your hard work being taken away from you. I was actually, God forgive me, I was actually hoping that they would uphold Lyon's relegation, so that the whole issue would be like, okay, since the other team is out,
yeah.
So it's the same person that has.
So there's also a conspiracy theory now. So Nottingham Forest are set to replace what's it called now, Crystal Palace, and Lyon have to sell their players in order for them to still play in the Europa League for next season. And guess what? Nottingham Forest want to buy players from Lyon.
That's how it happens. It's the politics of football. It happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. But I'm also glad. I mean, it's distasteful if you follow Lyon. For a long time, a team that was at our top level won this French league 7 times on the bounce.
But that was in the days.
On the bounce. What do you mean?
That was in the days. That was in days.
That was nothing bad. It's not so far-fetched.
Yeah, well.
Karim Benzema was a striker with them.
Well, how many years ago? Where does Karim Benzema play now?
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
for 3 consecutive seasons in the Champions League, Lyon were the one knocking out Madrid at the quarterfinals.
So in the good old days.
That's what of course, I'm not denying that fact. What I'm simply saying is that for every club, you'll have your down moments. And I'm glad they were able to challenge their status of relegation to stay up. They said they've been able to raise enough money. And they sold a couple of their players as well. But give and take, I'm sure they'll find a way around it. I really want Crystal Palace to play European football. They deserve it.
I think we all do.
Really hard, to be where they are. But again, it's about conflict of interest. You can't have 2 teams playing in the same competition again. It's not even like Champions League and Conference League,
the same competition itself.
So why if the draws comes up and both of you get to play against each
other under the same owner?
So whatever it is that the owner has said in terms of selling his shares and all of that, it's been established as at the time Crystal Palace qualified for Europe, you were still the majority shareholder of Crystal Palace
and Lyon. Exactly.
So I think, I don't know, Lyon are back, they take their place, but for Crystal Palace, it's bad. It's really bad.
Well,
they go so well. I'm sure the moment
could perhaps be the reason why Iirsᴛ could be leaving Crystal Palace at the end of the season.
I don't think so. He's always talked about how much he loved Arsenal. He was released by Arsenal at the age of 13.
But he scores against Arsenal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So it feels like
do you see when Iirsᴛ plays against Arsenal? It looks like
he's a beast. He's a different kind of player. It's like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I have unfinished business
with the club.
I will prove to you that you are wrong for sacking me. I will show you that I'm not done.
Yeah.
Some players are extra pumped up
when they play against their own clubs. Exactly.
Just like when you play the London Derby.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
North London Derby.
Derby.
Aubameyang says that even if the North London Derby is at 12 midnight, he will still cut his hair by 11:30. That lightning sign. He said he does it only for North London Derby. So there are traditions. If it doesn't, maybe before the end of the week, we'll find out. Crystal Palace statement. They will release a statement. If it's established that they will not be playing in Europe, I think he's done. Iirsᴛ is done.
Well, let's talk about some transfer stories before we get to pick your calls. We've had 1 or 2 calls coming in, but we'll also get to pick your calls very soon. Everton has now completed the signing of Thierno Barry from Villarreal for the sum of £27 million. The France under 21 striker has now signed a 4-year contract with the Toffees until the end of June 2029. Barry had a £34.5 million release clause in his Villarreal contract. However, Everton negotiated a lower fee for the 22-year-old who scored 11 goals and provided 4 assists in 38 games last season, as the Spanish club also finished 5th in La Liga to qualify for the Champions League. And he will be adding to the Everton's attacking resources after Dominic Calvert-Lewin also left at the end of his contract last season. Let's also talk about some other transfer stories. Arsenal have now made a formal approach for Chelsea winger Noni Madueke. It is understood that Chelsea are looking for a fee in the region of £50 million for the 23-year-old England international, and Madueke is currently part of Chelsea's squad at the FIFA Club World Cup and came on as a substitute just as Blues reached the final of the competition after beating Fluminense 2-0. But Kwemi, Noni Madueke to Arsenal, that looks far-fetched to me.
There's nothing far-fetched about it. See, this place I am.
Does he want to replace Bukayo Saka?
This place I am today, all your agenda, I will kill it. All your agenda will fit.
Where does he want to play?
So there's
not 4 competitions, just 4.
4 is enough.
Oh my God.
4 is enough.
Just 4.
There's some clubs like they will do only 1.
Okay.
And they'll still finish 15th. And they are not even competing for the league.
The Red Devils.
They're just playing in the league.
Yeah.
You know, so I think they need a large squad. And they're also releasing players, by the way. Takeru Tomiyasu. Fabio is back. It looks like he would also go back again.
On loan?
You know, a couple of their players that went on loan are also back. So I think Ateta is feeling like, you know what? Let's just go out for this one. They brought in a backup goalkeeper for
Kepa?
David Raya in Kepa. And they brought in Zubimendi as in the midfield.
They're about bringing in Cṛistiano too.
We have Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, and Zubimendi. 3 of them in the midfield. There is Nordgaard also as a team player. So you look like as long as he's available and fit to play, he starts. So on that other left wing, there is Martinelli, there is Leandro Trossard
as well.
So they probably want to feel like, you know what, we're a bit light. And Trossard can also play anywhere across the front line as well. We've seen him top strike in some games last season when all of their strikers. Don't let us come up onto that one. He kicked already by the middle of last season, even before his December.
But there's ᴜᴜᴜ also been
That's
part.
what I'm saying.
ᴜᴜᴜ can even play in that position.
There's no point making him play in that position.
But
when
you can
actually get players to play. Why would you invert a defender?
Okay.
When you have someone that can naturally play that role.
But there's ᴜᴜᴜ.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
It's a squad. It's a squad. So I mean, on a normal day, Kepa will start even as a captain for some clubs. He knows that he will have to work well. I mean, leave my friend. He will have to work well to hold his shirt, number 1 shirt down, quality in the squad. Not looking at the bench. Arsenal were playing Manchester United in the FA Cup last season. They were trailing. They needed a goal. After Martin Odegaard lost the penalty, Ateta looked at the bench. And there was Raheem Sterling. And then he brought in ᴑᴜᴜ. And they needed a goal. That means they don't have quality on the bench. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Excuse me. You look at Manchester City. You look at what they have on the bench. Look at Liverpool. Liverpool won the league. I mean, in the most comfortable way. They've still gone out of their ways to break. Saka is already a full-fledged international.
It's just more or less like
Saka is even part of the captain group in Arsenal.
Exactly.
So nobody's coming to bench him. But what would you rather have? Start a league in August, and then by December. And when the Champions League had got into the full-fledged, and then there's the rush of December where you play like 6 games in the space of 21 days.
Exactly.
That's when you need a squad. Your players will get fatigued. Even if they don't get injured. So when you have a squad where I even want them to still bring Onyemadueke and still bring Rodrigo. So it's a 2 things have to improve. Because the person that you are fighting with is also a star. Imagine
he wants to play
between Martinelli and
Rodrigo.
Or have it going forward, then you also know that I have to deliver week in, week out. If the Villarreal starts to mess up, Kepa will get his chance. That's what happened between the Villarreal and the Ramsdale.
Exactly.
Was becoming too comfortable. He was making silly errors. He was just being playful.
And then just
took him out. And the Villarreal came in. Imagine having a player on loan. But you, as a goalkeeper, the person challenging for your shirt is on loan.
It's on loan,
but
exactly.
You already know that there's a clause that I hope they will have a successful transfer window, by the way. And they bring in, I think they have 5 major targets. They brought in 3 already. They brought in a backup goalkeeper. They brought in a defensive midfielder,
Thomas
Partey that had gone. Also, Nordgaard as
he's
a
also coming
in
as a 32-year player.
So up front, if they can have all of those options, when Arsenal strikers got injured last season,
it's so unlucky. Let's also talk about some other transfer stories now. Mohamed Kudus is now set to join our thoughts now because I think it's a good deal. I think it's a good deal actually. I think it's a good deal. It's a good deal. 100% a good deal. It's a good deal. Mohamed Kudus scores clutch goals. It's a good deal for me.
Without huge amount of money.
Yeah.
And you know yourself. Me and you know within ourselves.
Yes. For 55 million pounds.
Who was Kudus West Ham's best player last season?
No, it was Bowen.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka was voted as the player of the season.
How many goals did Aaron Wan-Bissaka score?
See, the relationship between West Ham. Go and watch West Ham's last 10 games last season.
Yes.
Go and watch that win against Brighton. That late 3-2 victory.
Okay.
By the way, Simon Adingra had
Yeah,
left
at
Brighton
Brighton.
for Sunderland. So
Wow.
we are proud.
What kind of move is that?
Money speaking.
Oh my God.
So I think on that space it's different.
His best season in the Premier League was 14 goals.
So how come?
See, Okwemi,
Wait
see,
now.
I know why you're talking
How
this way.
come
He only had a bad season last season. That was just a one-off. Okwemi, that was a one-off.
He had bad
A
season.
one-off season.
Bad season.
A bad season.
And then
And it's unusual.
wait now.
Oh yeah.
And then the other guy
Who is that?
from Nottingham Forest to
That's Elanga.
Newcastle.
Nah, come on.
That had a good season.
With how many goals?
What?
Okay, his good season.
He had
Wait.
18 goals contribution.
But how many goals did he score? He scored only 6 goals. Only 6 goals
Only.
in the Premier League. In all competitions.
In a team where Chris Wood was the #1 striker.
But as a winger,
team where Taiwo
okay, Mohamed Kudus bad season, which was last season, he still scored 5 goals. We are talking about Anthony Langa that had his best season in his career, scoring 6 goals. What's the difference? How do you want to compare both of them?
See, me, I understand what you're doing. Maybe you have a girlfriend in Ghana.
No, yeah.
I'm trying to form, transfer for that price, despite having a terrible season.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the studio they even did for him to be sitting down on. Maybe that's where the problem
They don't
came
put work for him.
If you can justify Kudus transfer to Spurs,
Yeah.
then there's no way you can tell me Elanga is not worth the same price. You can't see. Forget
Elanga is 60 million pounds.
Forget add-ons.
Yeah, in add-ons.
Forget banters. Forget.
I'm not even talking. This is not even banter.
Mohamed Kudus is not a better player than Elanga.
I disagree with you. He's a better player than Elanga.
Which Kudus?
Mohamed Kudus, see, Elanga only had his best season last season, Okwemi.
Which Kudus?
That was his best
Kudus
season.
are we talking about?
You are talking about Kudus. Mohamed Kudus, that's the talisman for Ghana. Ghana's talisman.
Which Ghana?
Ghana's talisman.
Which of the Ghana? Is it the Ghana must go?
How many Ghana do you know, Okwemi? Ghana star. No, see, how we even say.
How can you tell me
How
Kudus
I
is
say
better
how I
than
say
Elanga?
Anthony Langa is better than Mohamed Kudus. Okwemi, you are setting yourself up for drags.
Me drag.
Yes. 0136000.
Let's see who they will drag. Let's see the road that will cut. You have to set that.
0136000. 036,000. Okwemi here is saying Anthony Langa is better than Mohamed Kudus. No.
By miles, my friend.
Okwemi, see.
It's the Vinicius and Mbappe.
No, come on. You can't compare both of them together. You can't compare Vinicius as well as Mbappe together. They are 2 different players.
I'm telling you that they're not even close.
See, you can't even Okwemi, why are we even comparing Elanga to Mohamed Kudus?
Call that Kudus again.
Kudus.
When maybe Kudus.
Yeah, let's speak of course. 0136000. Don't give me a welcome to the show.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Joshua from Songbo.
You're welcome. Please, you have just 30 seconds.
Oh, my own is, for me, Mohamed Kudus is better than him.
Thank you so
My
much.
own view. Yes,
In terms of goals, in terms of assists, Mohamed Kudus had his worst season last season for West Ham, and he only scored 5 goals. And you're talking about Anthony Langa that had his best season in his career, scoring just 7 goals with 12 goal contributions. Let's go to pick some more calls around 36,000 phones. Good evening, welcome to the show. Hello? Oh, we missed that one. Please try to call us back. Hello, good evening, welcome to the show. Uche, I don't go blame you. Now, man, you they support. I don't go blame you. Now, man, you they support. Uche.
Not about Man United. Anthony Langa is not my player anymore.
Thank you so much. Anthony
Langa is the only update on your best goalkeeper and the one.
He has resumed preseason training now.
He said he granted an interview on Monday. So he said that to Manchester United fans that they've not seen the best of him.
Yeah.
That he's going to. And I said, he's promising them because there's no way you consider
There's no
almost
way.
200 goals in all competition in 2 seasons, and you say they've not seen the best of him.
Like we mentioned yesterday, Fluminense were dumped out of the FIFA Club World Cup by Chelsea. With their former star player, or should I say their former player, talking about João Pedro scoring a brace in that particular one. And Okwemi, I also have a sound, but I don't think you can take that because of our time. From Nicolas Jackson to the 3rd choice striker at Chelsea as it stands. And it just looks like Mikel Obi has got what he wants. He has got what he wanted. Don't forget there are issues in the past with Mikel Obi calling for someone transfer window is still up as it stands. What next for them? And ahead of the final, Okwemi, you think Chelsea are favourites heading into the final?
First off, Nicolas Jackson should send money to me. Let him go to Yaba. I help him buy pillow and duvet. Because he will spend a lot of time on the bench.
Someone said Nicolas Jackson bench go get get seatbelt.
Because it's unfortunate
Yeah.
that the two players Chelsea had brought in and instantly hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Liam Delap, that's what I called him yesterday.
Yeah. Wow, Pedro.
Wow, Pedro.
Okwemi. Where is that? Where? Oh, no. Wow.
You all want to 1-1. So, I mean, look at... after you sign a player, he joined you guys about 30 hours before the game. Had only one training session, and then he came
and
in.
I'm sure the ink. I'm sure the ink.
His former club.
Okay, I'm sure the ink on his contract is yet to be dry.
Absolutely.
Just 1 week.
I mean, it's basic. For Jackson, he has not exactly given Chelsea reasons not to look for strikers, and that's the fact. It's just like Olivier Giroud. In the entire career of Olivier Giroud, every club he's played, every transfer window, there's a striker linked to that club. When he was at Arsenal, every single transfer window, Arsenal was signed a striker. When he moved to Chelsea, the same thing. AC Milan, the same thing.
Even when he moved to LA Galaxy,
you look
and now he's at Lille.
Somebody somewhere is saying that okay, we are buying a player to replace you. We are buying a player to replace you. We are buying a player to replace you.
Right, yeah.
He's not.
Exactly.
Secondly, he's not consistent.
Yeah.
And for a top level club like Chelsea, the most successful English club in Europe in the last 15 years, you have to bring up your game.
There was a chance where he could have passed to Cole, in that particular game when he came on.
And
Do you think?
was angry. One goal in 20 matches. He's angry.
Do you think? Oh my God! Okay, you have to bring that up. Do you think the pressure? Two goals.
He didn't just score 2 goals.
2 goals. Two beautiful goals.
Wow. Well, if not that I was playing against Fluminense's former club, he would have probably jumped into the audience. If that was a Premier League goal, jubilation.
Would not have been muted.
He was already running to jubilate before I remember that. Oh, it's against my boyhood club.
Yeah.
He now put his hands up
in respect.
After he put his hands up, look at the second goal he scored. Look at that tight angle. Look at the control. Look at the finishing. Look at where he hung the ball.
I think the Premier League is in for.
There's
a
nothing
beautiful
new
baller.
About him. We've seen him.
Yeah, we've seen him. I mean, but in Chelsea colours. In Chelsea colours.
I think for Jackson, he knows that his time is gradually. See, the advantage that ᴏᴏ has is that he can play both at the left and at the right.
Yeah.
Last season, he played about 8 games from the left and over 20 games from his preferred wing. So, Arteta can use him above that space for maybe games, maybe Carabao Cup, FA Cup, and all of that. But for Jackson, if at all he sees some decent, even if our Pedro does not play. There is also Delap.
There's Magui.
There's still Nkunku.
There is Estivao.
There's Estivao
joining from Palmeiras.
So, and if those players come in and then they strike gold immediately,
it's undusted.
Nicolas Jackson, he should not go play Senegal.
Or maybe he should go back to Senegal to go and do his.
Forget that. It does not work. I think he was really under pressure. The same thing that happened against Newcastle last season that would have cost Chelsea their
Champions League. Exactly.
You understand? So, and then the person that is replacing you just scored 2 world-class goals. And see, they always say one prayer in Yoruba that God should not put your food in your enemy's mouth. Mikel Obi is always.
Oh my God! I would have played soundbite, but then
Who played on
Friday? Yeah.
Every step all the way that Jackson takes.
He's always there.
And Mikel Obi had made it clear that he's a good striker. But he's not the striker that can take Chelsea to the
next level.
Look at the quality of strikers that Chelsea have produced.
Okay, let's leave it off very quickly and talk about the blockbuster clash later this evening by 8 p.m. It's going to be PSG up against Real Madrid at the starting lineup for both teams. Let me give you the honors. Gianluigi Donnarumma starting to go for PSG. Hakimi arrived back. You also have Marquinhos. Lucas Berardo starts due to the fact that Williams Pacho has been red carded. He's suspended for this one. And Mendes is also be starting as well at left back. In midfield, we have João Neves. We also have Vitinha as well as Fabian Ruiz, the Spanish midfielder. And up top, we have Ousmane Dembele starting for the very first time in the FIFA Club World Cup, this time around. And we have Desiree Doué.
So, a friend of mine, Olaoluwa, a big shout out to you, by the way. I listens to the show every time.
Yeah.
He said it was at an event, and then it was like a religious Ode Obalade Urade Ode. So that's Madrid now. You have to
be the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yes, arguably.
Wow.
And that's why they said arguably.
Arguably, yeah.
Rudiger, there's Asensio, there's Fran Garcia, there's Adagula, there's Jude Bellingham, there's Aurelio Tchouameni, there's Vinicius Junior. There is Garcia, another Garcia.
Gonzalo Garcia.
Yes, and there's also Kylian Mbappe.
Also,
so for Gonzalo Garcia is for me.
Yeah, because it looked like Xabi Alonso was in a form of conundrum between either starting Kylian Mbappe or starting Gonzalo Garcia, and it just looks like he just came up with the best decision of starting both of them together.
We're having an argument. It's a new manager.
Yeah.
So he doesn't owe anybody anything.
Exactly.
Fine, there were always those big players. Maybe Vini, Bellingham, Thibaut Courtois, big players. Those ones look untouchable.
Yeah.
But this is
Getafe agreeing a deal with Real Madrid in order for Gonzalo Garcia to.
Madrid does not have like a striker. Let's say, okay, striker Lele. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Wow. That means Trent is not starting.
See?
Trent is not starting this game.
Did you not see the lineup?
That's what I'm saying. Oh, so I know why. So I have a conspiracy theory about this.
Conspiracy.
Because obviously Trent doesn't know how to defend. And he knows that he's coming up against Desidu as well as Kvaratskhelia. See, this champion also has sense. Those are little teams now. Those are small teams. Okwem, the phone has been boys now 36,000 for. Let's also see if we can pick some more calls before we leave. Okwem, before we also get a pick some calls as well. Last season, last game against Bayern Munich, we have William Pacho getting the red card, and now it's going to be Beraldo starting in his stead. Do you think how much of a big miss is William Pacho going to be for PSG this evening, because he has not missed any minutes in this tournament so far?
I think they've got quality. I'm not sure if they will miss him that much. And I mean, he's physical enough. He complements Marquinhos so well. But he took one for the team that was actually unnecessary.
Yeah, very unnecessary.
But then it's part of the game, and I think PSG's got enough quality in them. There's Nuno Mendes, arguably the best
left back in
the world right now, alongside Achraf Hakimi, the best right back and the best player from Africa at the moment. You've got the experience of Marquinhos, and you know that Donnarumma is an extra player.
Exactly.
So I'm not sure if Beraldo would be a problem in this team. You have Kylian Mbappe.
You have Kylian Mbappe with the pace. Let's get to read some messages as well as pick some calls before we leave the studio because we're pressed for time. Okay, this person says, good evening, guys in the studio. Please, can you update me on Arsenal done deal transfer? Friday for more. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, he's also saying, Cʀᴜɪmᴜ, you can't judge sleep to death. Mohamed Kudus is better than Elanga for me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's see if we can pick one or two more calls because a lot of things made us not pick your calls. Let's see if we can pick one or two calls. Yeah, as well. I have a text message. This person says, good evening to you guys in the studio. This game against between PSG as well as Real Madrid is one to watch, but I'm predicting that Real Madrid will beat the champions of Europe, PSG, 3-0. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Okay, before we go, your final thoughts about that game and your prediction very quickly.
Big game tonight. Madrid win. Of course, Chelsea are just somewhere waiting for whoever comes out of this one. But it's going to be a very interesting game. You've got arguably two of the most exciting teams in world football as we speak.
Yeah.
The dethroned champion. By the new champion. So there's a whole lot. Then the Kylian Mbappe factor. He certainly wants to prove to his old club
I was not the problem. Yeah.
How does he feel that it was when he left PSG
that he won the Champions League?
He said his business is football. So I'm sure tonight he wants to prove a point.
All right, guys. Yes, of course. Just like you've heard from Okwemi tonight, it's going to be a date with them. Good evening. You have just 30 seconds, please. You have to leave now.
Yes. That's your guy that was following you right from the time you were with Godwin and Akena, the Arsenal fan. I enjoyed the flow and the little altercation and all that. But I have a problem. I read recently about this go correct. Is it a done deal or do we still have any inch or whatever?
He has been excused from training with
Sporting Lisbon.
So it looks like it's a matter of when, not if. I'm sure maybe by weekend it will be done.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Unfortunately, we can't pick any more calls right now. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. But please do this again with us tomorrow, same time, same station on Sports Cruise Live from 98.3 FM in Sound of Lagos, 6 p.m. Make it a date with us. Thank you so much. And on behalf of the guys as well in the studio, have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday evening. And until we see as well tomorrow, my name still remains Aditama Banjolo, otherwise known as Agwatami. Have a wonderful night. And we also hope as well that the better team.
I just want a team that can beat Chelsea in the final. That's my fantasy.
Bro,
I just want a team that can beat Chelsea.
That's just my thought as it starts because Chelsea cannot win the FIFA Cup. If they win,